Dear students, today we are going to discuss one of the important dynasty which ruled our country, India, that is the Vardhanas. Let us see one by one how they ruled. Gupta Empire, which had flourished for 2 centuries, disintegrated around 6th century common era. It means, my dear students, Gupta Empire was reached very high peak. It was developed and ruled around 2 centuries. After that, due to the continuous attack by Huns, Gupta Empire was disintegrated. It means it was scattered in many parts, many tribes around 6th century. You can see in the picture there is a map with a pink color shadow. You can see that after the disintegration of Gupta dynasty, many small kingdoms sprang up at this time. The kingdom of the Vardhana was one of them. It means Vardhana dynasty also came out from Gupta dynasty, which was one of the part before in Gupta dynasty. After the disintegration of Gupta dynasty, Vardhanas were one of them. They ruled from Taneshwar in 6th century. You can see in the map there is a circle which is rotating. It indicates the place Taneshwar from where Vardhanas ruled in the 6th century. Some copper inscriptions Banna's Harsacharita and other Chinese traveler Winstein's writings throw light upon this period. Dear students, how can we understand that Vardhana dynasty was existed and it was ruled, but how can we confirm it? We can confirm and we can believe on the basis of sources which are available till today as evidence of Vardhanas. One among them is copper inscriptions. Some copper inscriptions have been found out which can portray, which explain us that Vardhana's rule was there in the 6th century from Thaneshwar. And apart from inscriptions, we can also see that Banna's Harsacharita is a very important book written by Banna. It also throws the light on Vardhanas. And a Chini traveler Weinstein visited during the rule of Vardhanas, and in his writings also we can find out that Vardhana's rule was there. Now, let us see the founder of Vardhana dynasty, Pushyabhuti. Pushyabhuti is the founder of this dynasty. Prabhakara and Harshavardhana are the prominent kings of this dynasty. Prabhakara and Harshavardhana are the more important, significant, prominent, popular kings of Vardhana dynasty, which is founded by Pushyabhuti. After the death of his father, Prabhakara and his brother Rajyavardhana and Harsha became the king of Thaneshwar. When Pushyabhuti died, his son Prabhakara came to power and his brothers Rajyavardhana and Harshavardhana, they also ruled for some period of time Vardhana dynasty. His sister Prabhakaravardhana's sister Rajashri was married to the king of Kanaus. So, Kanaus king married the sister of Prabhakaravardhana. So, Kanaus king and Thaneshwar king, they had a marital relationship. When the king of Bengal, Shashank, killed the king of Kanaus, Harshavardhana captured Kanaus and attacked the king of Bengal. Dear students, already we know that the sister of Harshavardhana and Prabhakaravardhana, that is Rajashri, who got married to the king of Kanaus. And the king of Kanaus was killed by Bengal king Shashank. It means Harshavardhana's sister's husband, that is Kanaus king, was killed by Bengal king Shashank, so that Harshavardhana captured Kanaus and attacked on Bengal king to take revenge of his sister's husband. Bengal and Magadha came under the rule of Harshavardhana. So Bengal and Magadha came under the rule of Harshavardhana, but he could not advance beyond the Narmada river in the south. It means Harshavardhana was confined to the Narmada river. He did not go beyond the Narmada river in the south. What is the reason? Let us see that in the next slide. The Kannada king, that is Badami Chalukya's king Pulkeshi II, halted his progress and forced him to go back. Dear students, Harshavardhana tried to cross Narmada river and attack on South India. But at this moment, Chalukya's king Pulkeshi II stopped him at Narmada river and forced him to go back, so that Harshavardhana was not succeed in his attempt to attack on South India, which was stopped by Pulkeshi II. This achievement of Pulkeshi II has been immortalized in the Prasasti, Panegyric or Prasasti written by the court poet Ravi Kirti. Ravi Kirti was one of the important court poet of Chalukya kingdom, that is Pulkeshi II. He wrote in an inscription in a Prasasti. You can see that in the slide. And he has expressed that the exaltation of the king Harsha's joy had dried up on account of this defeat. Harshavardhana was very ambitious to cross Narmada river and attack on South India, but he could not forecast, he could not understood that he can be stopped by somebody else, like Chalukya king Pulkeshi II stopped him, so that his joy had been dried up because of the defeat by the hands of Pulkeshi II. Now, administration of Vardhanas. The kings of Vardhanas were assisted by Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers means number of ministers were there in the court of Vardhana who can help a king to rule his kingdom. The bureaucracy consisted of the Mahasandhi Vigraha, the negotiator, Mahabaladhikruta, military general, Bhogapati, tax officer, and Duta. So they were the bureaucracy in the Vardhana dynasty. They were Mahasandhi Vigraha as a negotiator who was negotiating between states regarding the state affairs, and Mahabalajikrita, a military general, head of the military, and Bhogapati, who was entrusted to collect a tax from the state, and Duta, who was taking a message. The king had been divided into provinces. So Vardhana dynasty had divided their kingdom into many provinces to the convenience of rule, to the administration, because it could not be possible to any king to rule a vast kingdoms without dividing into many provinces. For example, let us see the Karnataka has 29 to 30 districts today, which is very helpful to rule the Karnataka. In that way, they also had many provinces. Now, tax system. How was the tax system in Vardhanas? Let us see that. Land tax was the major source of income for the kingdom. So, Vardhanas had many sources of income to their kingdom. In that, the most important and major one is land tax. Land tax was a very major one and most important one, which can bring a source of income to the kingdom. And feudatory chiefs paid tribute to the king. This is also one of the source to the Vardhana dynasty. The king gave them a land grants and in return got the help of their armies. King had granted some land to the armies, to the feudatory chiefs. In return, during the war, he was taking the help of their army. When the king became weak, feudatory chiefs became independent. When Vardhana kings become weak, automatically feudatory chiefs who had their own army to protect their self-interest, they became independent when kings become weak. Land grants were given to the other communities and religious people as well. So Vardhanas were given land as a gift, as a token to different communities, to religious people. Harsha gave prominence to Buddhism. It means religion during Vardhanas. We get details of the popularity of Buddhism from Huinstang's writings. Huinstang was one of a Chini traveler who visited Vardhana dynasty, and whatever he had witnessed during his visit, he had written in his book. And in that book we can see that Harsha has given a lot of importance to Buddhism. You can see in the map there is a circle rotating. The Buddhist Nalanda University was full of activity during this period. It enjoyed a royal patronage. During Harshavardhana and Vardhana dynasty, there was a university in Nalanda of today's in Bihar, which had a royal shelter. Royal patronage means a kings had been given a shelter to this university and they had encouraged them, they supported them. Because of that, this university was full of activity during the rule of Vardhanas. Thank you.